vacation, I was tempted just to call off the rest of the service and go home. Awesome job, amen? Turn your Bibles again to Genesis chapter 19.
Come on, Genesis.
Now, there have been in the last couple of years a couple of awesome movies about caves. Caves. Just in case you did not understand. Some of which I've seen and others are a little too scary to watch. But one of the movies is called Sanctum. And it's a movie about underground caves that, of course, are explored. A number of years ago, there was one called Descent, which I have not seen. And, of course, a bunch of years ago, one called Journey to the Center of the Earth. And it sounds like some of you have seen that one. But you know, caves are a place where men have often chosen to hide. Bears, of course, hibernate in them. But we even use the word cave metaphorically or symbolically now to say a man or a woman is in themselves or hiding from other people. He or she is hiding in her cave. And so today we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about caves. The title of the message is The Caves of Men. The first cave we're going to look at today is the cave of compromise. In Genesis chapter 19 and verse 30, we read a very sad story about a man who's supposed to be a man of God. About sense. Lot and his two daughters left Zoar and settled in the mountains, where he was afraid to stay in Zoar. He and his two daughters lived in a cave. One day the older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there's not a man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth. Let us get our father to drink wine, and then sleep with him to preserve our family line through our father." That night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him first. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get in and drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him, so we can preserve our family line through our father." So they got their father to drink wine that night also. And the younger daughter went in and slept with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son, she named him Moab. He is the father of the Moabites today. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ami. He is the father of the Ammonites today. You know, right here we have what an incredibly sad story. A story where a man sleeps with his daughters, one that is disgusting in any culture or any time. And yet, of course, we understand that nothing is said whether it was right or wrong in the scripture, but that's only because it's a narrative and it doesn't comment on morality in narratives. However, we understand from the consequences, one son being Moab and the other Ammon, which becomes the Moabites and Ammonites, two of the greatest enemies of God's people of all time. We know this is God's way of saying, hey, that was very wrong what you did. Yet the Bible teaches that Lot was not aware of what was happening when it happened. But we'll find out that Lot was much more responsible than you think. You see, his daughter's sin was the direct result of his compromises from years before. Let's go if you can to Genesis chapter 13. We know that Abraham was a man of God, and of course he was related to Lot. Him and Lot were traveling together, and at some point their servants began fighting with one another. So they decided to part company. And right here, Abraham chooses an awesome spot, and Lot decides to move as well. Let's see what kind of neighborhood Lot moved into. Verse 13. Verse 10. This is Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain of the Jordan to Zoar was well watered, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt. This is before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself the whole plain in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plain and pitched his tents near Sodom. Now the people of Sodom were wicked, and were sinning greatly against the Lord. choose to move into, what people we choose to surround and call friends and bring into our homes. Now that's not to say we don't reach out to non-Christians, of course we do. But who are your best friends will likely determine who you're going to be. I'm going to ask you this morning, are you hanging out with people that are of God? Are your best friends disciples of Jesus?
Yep.
Or are you like Lot looking at everything else except for what's most important? The Bible says not only were they sinning against God, but they were greatly sinning against the Lord. We know that Sodom and Gomorrah's two primary sins were violence and extreme sexual sin. You might ask, where did Lot's daughters learn this wicked behavior from? I think they saw it growing up in Sodom and Gomorrah. And for them, it was a solution. They probably didn't even see it as sin or not that bad of sin. You know, when you're sinning or you're around people that are sinning all the time, sin just doesn't seem that bad anymore. You want to not feel bad about gambling, go to a casino. I mean, you go to a casino, you're going to want to gamble. There's all these machines going up, ding, 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 ding. It's like you're in an arcade for adults. And you feel great when you're there. You want to feel great about getting drunk? Go hang out with people that are getting drunk. In the bar, they look like they're having so much fun. If you want to feel not bad about sinning, find people who are doing it and hang out with them. And yet some of you already know that. Some of you know that because that was your previous life. That's what you once were. But others of you know that because that is the reality of where you're at today. You know that you have people in your life that are dragging you down, and yet, week after week, month after month, you have not separated yourselves from what's causing your downfall. What was the second compromise he made? Well, the first we know was that he put himself and his family in a bad situation. Let's see in Genesis 19 what his second mistake was. You know, Abraham pleaded with God to save Sodom and Gomorrah. God told him that he would save Lot and his family out of it, but the rest of the city would be destroyed. They go to get Lot, and as Lot is leaving the city, two things happen. One is they were instructed not to look back. His wife looks back at the city, and she turns into a pillar of salt. You might ask, why did she look back? I think it's simple. I think his wife loved the city, loved the sin, and was sad as she was leaving that it was gone. And of course, we understand, Lot not only loses his wife, it sounds like he lost his daughters in the passage we read a bit earlier. Well, as they're leaving, as they're going, he's told to go to the mountain. In 2 chapters later, Abraham is told by God, go to the mountain. And he obeys. And he becomes the father of faith for all nations. Lot is told the same thing first. Let's see what Lot's response is. Let's pick up our reading again, verse 18. But Lot said to them, no, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But I can't flee the mountains. This disaster will overtake me, and I'll die. Look, here's a town near enough to run to. It is small. Let me flee it in. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. He said to him, very well. I will grant this request too. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it. That is why the town was called Zoar. And right here, he's told to go to the mountain, and yet he sees a place called Zoar that was so much easier to get to. Because I don't want to do that. Send me to the place in which it's easy. And of course, in that he exposed part of his character. What was Lot's heart? It was not to do what was best, but rather to do what was easiest. You know, I think for a lot of us, that can be our life. Rather than having a hard talk with our boss about being committed to church and putting church first, we can have an easy non-talk with our boss and simply comply with what's said. Secondly, for a lot of us, we either have a hard talk with our coach, a hard talk with our professor, or we can easily not say anything and do what is easiest. Just keep going with the flow and hoping no one says anything. For some of us, it's not having the hard talk with our wife or our husband. Explaining to them that no matter what they say, no matter what they want, that you are going to be committed and faithful to God. And rather we cower in and we give in to persecution and at times discouragement. Now I'm going to ask you, do you do what's easiest or you do what's best? Now I'm not only talking to the individuals. Let me talk to the parents for a little bit. Here we have an example of a dad who did not protect his own children. He did not protect his children from the world. And he foolishly set them up for failure. You know, in our former movement, I felt like one of the great mistakes that was made by a lot of leaders was they valued their children's success over their children's spirituality. This didn't just happen with members. We're talking about high-up leaders who put their children in some of the best schools around the world. Even in some cases where there were not disciples there. Transplanting people to try to make up for it. But when your heart is success first, kingdom second, let me tell you something, you put the same heart into your kid, and almost every one of those kids fell away. I really want to challenge the parents. It is your responsibility as a parent while your child is with you. You cannot control what they do when they're gone. But when they're with you, it is your responsibility to make godly decisions for their lives and to put into them success is secondary, even third. God is first, and God is always first in every decision that we make. This morning, let's avoid the cave of compromise. Secondly, let's look at the cavern of exhaustion. Look at 1 Kings 19. This second cave was entered by a man named Elijah. And Elijah was a man who had a lot of challenges in his walk with God. Back during this time, we know that at this time, God had set up the kingdom of Israel as a theocracy, meaning that its religious leader was also the political leader. But in 1 Samuel, what happens is the people of God beg God for a king. Now, a lot of people think that that means there was one leader. Actually, there was always one leader before that. It's called the prophet. When they begged for a king, there now became two leaders. The prophet of God remained the spiritual leader, but the king was now in charge of the military and the governing. What then happened was there was supposed to be equal power between the two. The king led the military affairs, and the prophet discipled the king, and led the people spiritually. And here's the problem. Whenever you had a wicked king, the prophet was supposed to disciple the king. Well, you all know what happens when you try to disciple someone who's not a man of God, right? They get mad. And when you got a whole military behind you, and an army, there's not much a prophet can do. So very often what happened was the prophet was the worst job in the kingdom. They were running away constantly from the king. So Ahab's the king, Jezebel is his wife. So Ahab is the wicked king. Jezebel, have you ever met anyone named Jezebel? That's like a guy named Judas. It doesn't happen. Why? Because Jezebel in the Bible was one of the wickedest women of all time. Well, because he's on the run, and because this couple, this incredibly wicked couple, wants to kill him, he's now living by a stream of water, and every day a bird is feeding him mouth. Pretty cool, huh? No, not cool at all. Could you imagine eating at the same restaurant for 3 years in a row? Especially when that same restaurant served the same thing? And it was a restaurant where a bird came and gave you food out of its mouth? We're not talking about filet mignon, lechon, crispy pata. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a piece of meat or some bread, and that's it. Yet for 3 years, that's how he lived his life, in isolation. Well, God finally comes and says, okay, it's time. You're going to go and fight 450 prophets of Baal. Well, he goes to go up to this mountain, and it's an incredible, incredible story. Chapter 17 and 18. They have a firefight. And Elijah wins. I think the firefight's pretty cool, but it's only cool if you win. You know what I mean? Not only does he win, but all the people jump in and they help him. They kill the 450 prophets of Baal. Elijah's feeling pretty good. You ever had like an awesome spiritual victory? Maybe you had like 3 baptisms in your ministry, 4 baptisms. Maybe you had a wedding in your ministry, or maybe that sister or that brother said yes to your question of, will you date me or will you marry me? Maybe you got a pay raise at work, or maybe you got that awesome job you always wanted. Don't you feel incredible after? This is how Elijah feels. He's fired up. He's excited. And yet, things are about to go bad again. Let's see what happens. 1 Kings 19 and verse 1. The Bible says, now Ahab told Jezebel everything Elijah had done, and how he had killed all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a message to Elijah to say, may the gods deal with me ever so severely, if by this time tomorrow I do not make your life like one of them. Elijah was afraid, and he ran for his life. When he came to Beersheba in Judah, he left his servant there, while he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness. He came to a broom bush, sat down under it, and prayed that he might die. I've had enough, Lord, he said. Take my life. I'm no better than my ancestors. Then he lay down under a bush, and he fell asleep. All at once an angel touched him and said, get up and eat. He looked around, there by his head was some bread baked over hot coals, and a jar of water. He ate, drank, and then lay down again. The angel of the Lord came back a second time, and he touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. So he got up, he ate, and he drank. Strengthened by that food, he traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the Mount of God. There he went into a cave and spent the night. You know, right here, after this incredible victory, Elijah finds out that once again, the 2 most powerful people in all of Israel want him dead. Not only that, they gave him 24 hours to live. She said, in 24 hours, this man's going to be dead. Could you imagine being that man? He goes, you know what? I've had enough. It wasn't one singular challenge that killed Elisha. It was the consistency of multiple challenges that kept coming. I think for a lot of us, it's not that one challenge we get when we're a disciple. It's when we get a whole bunch of them in a row that just seem like they're never going to stop. And ultimately, these challenges make us feel tired, exhausted, and at some point, like Elijah, we want to give up. What's he saying? But you know what? I just want to die. I've had enough. Here, Elijah is even passively suicidal. He wants to die. Have you ever felt like you just wanted to die? Like school's too much, work's too much, your family's too much, your husband or wife is too much. It's just too much. And it'd be so much easier just to die. That's where Elijah's at. Well, the angel comes and goes, okay, you've got to eat. The reason why we get exhausted spiritually is because we're living and functioning on our own strength and not God's.
That's right.
So he tells Elijah, you've got to take something, you've got to eat, you've not been taking care of yourself. He eats, he gets up, he runs, and then he goes into a cave for the night. The cave of exhaustion. Let's see what happens now. Bible says here in verse 9. And the word of the Lord came to him. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" He goes, "Dude, what are you doing? You're supposed to be at Bible talk. You're supposed to be at midweek. You're supposed to be at church. What are you doing in the cave?" He replied, and I want you to just imagine what he must have looked like when he said this. "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too." He sends a bad attitude there. The Lord said, "Go out and stand on the mountain in presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Then a great powerful wind tore the mountain apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. When Elijah heard it, he pulled the cloak over his face, and he went out and stood at the mouth of the cave. Then the voice said to him, "Elijah, what are you doing here?" He replied, "I have been very zealous for the Lord God Almighty. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put your prophets to death by the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too." And right here, we see a couple things that I want you to get today. The reason why Elijah had gotten exhausted was not only because he relied on his own strength, but I believe it was because he stopped hearing the voice of God. You see, it was God who called Elijah to be a prophet. And it's God who calls us to not only be preachers and teachers, but to be disciples of His. It's God. When I first studied the Bible, I knew it was God that called me.
Wow.
When I was put into the ministry, I knew it was God that called me. And yet, at different points I wanted to quit, it's because I stopped hearing the voice of God. Now, Elijah thought he was going to hear God's voice again in a dramatic way. He goes out, you can't imagine. He goes out to the mouth of the cave, he looks at this mountain. This violent wind goes, and it tears apart the mountain. And yet the voice of God was not there. Then there's a giant earthquake. Still nothing. Then there's a fire, and still nothing. What did God do to finally get Elijah to hear him? He whispers. And I love it because Elijah tries to put his cloak over his head. You ever hear God's voice and you didn't like it? Go like that. He goes, "No! God's voice! I don't want to hear it." You know, it is when you're on your bed at night and you're trying to sleep. And you can't sleep because you know you're in sin. You can't sleep because you're anxious in your heart. That's when God speaks to us. You're visiting with us today, you know what I'm talking about. I believe that God has brought you here because God has been speaking to you far before you were reached out to. For some of you, you're coming back and God has been talking to you too.
Come on, Rod.
For some of you, you've been here the whole time. But you stopped listening to disciples. You stopped listening to the Word of God, and so the only thing that's left is the gentle whisper of God, who's begging and pleading with you to obey His voice once again. And I love how Elijah repeats the same thing over and over again. He goes, "Why are you here?" He goes, "You didn't hear me, God? I've got issues. I already told you. I'm mad. Nobody's listening to me right now, God."
Come on.
You ever feel like that?
Oh, yeah.
No one's listening. My Bible talk doesn't listen to me. I said 7 o'clock. They come at 7:30. I say bring food. They just come. Some don't even show up. And they act like they didn't know. Nobody listens to me.
Come on, Grace.
Nobody's obeying you, God. You ever feel like that?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
everyone's disobedient. I hear so many confessions of sin. My gosh. Can anyone be saved?
Our teaching.
And he's a little self-righteous. He goes, I'm the only one who's zealous. I'm the only fired up one. No one else is fired up like me.
Ah, Vivian.
You know, when you're arrogant and you're prideful, it is pretty tiring, isn't it? And let me just because I am the only one left. I'm it. This is a very bad week in the ministry. He is the only one that's not fallen away in his mind. He's the only one still alive. You know, very often we say our excuses to God, and they are in fact the reasons why we've gotten exhausted, but they're not valid reasons, if you know what I mean. And we might think, thank you, brother. See, this is what happens to you're big and you're white. And it's hot up here with the lights, amen? I'm going through hardship as well, praise God. But very often we think that God doesn't hear our complaints. And it's not that he doesn't hear them. He does hear them, it's that our complaints really don't matter. And they don't. When you complain to God about what you're going through and say that you can't do it anymore, and that you're going to give up, you got to understand, you're talking to a God that came down to the earth in human form, who put himself on the cross and put nails in his own hands, who killed himself in a way that was so sadistic and so sad that for 2,000 years it has been the most talked about death in all of human history. A God that gave no excuse to himself for something that he did not do. And you think our excuses to God are valid enough to give up? No, they're not. So what does God say to Elijah? I love what he says. He just gets done making an excuse, and then the Bible says here in verse 15, the Lord said to him, go back the way that you came, and go to the desert of Damascus. When you get there, you anoint Hazael king over Aram. Also anoint Jehu son of Nimshi king over Israel, and anoint Elisha son of Shaphat from Abel Meholah to succeed you as prophet. Jehu put to death and he escaped with the sword of Hazael, and Elisha put to death and he escaped the sword of Jehu. Yet I reserve 7,000 in Israel, all whose knees have not bowed down to Baal, and whose mouths have not kissed him. You know, right here, Elisha's understanding of God's plan was so small. And God goes, Elisha, you don't even know what you're talking about. I told you to do something and you're not doing it. You're messing up my plan. I've already got 7,000 men that are out there that are ready and they're waiting. You're supposed to go and appoint men to lead them. Go back the way that you came. You know, I think for some of us, we feel like because we've gone through hardship, that it's the wrong thing. See, a lot of us are given into this idea that Christianity is easy. We watch some guy on television saying it, and we go, wow, it's easy. I've got to try it. If I become a Christian, then everything for me is going to go great. And then you try it, and something bad happens. It doesn't feel good. You get hurt. Someone's supposed to be nice to you, who's a disciple, and they're mean. And you go, what was that? You see some hypocrisy, and you go, what? Christians sin? Yes, they do. Then all of a sudden, you realize that you're a sinner too. I feel like the mic just that works, huh? We're back. Like I said, even the microphone has issues, amen? You think you're the only one with hardship. But the point is this. I think for a lot of us, this is our challenge. Yes, you've gone through hardship, and yes, you've been tempted to give up. Some of you are here who have given up. And yet, if God were to speak to you today, his message would be clear. Go back the way that you came.
Right.
It was not wrong. It is not wrong. It's
right.
Guys, it's time to get out of the cave of exhaustion. It's time to raise up leaders, raise up young men and women to go into ministry. It is time to do the will of God. Amen? And lastly, I think this one will encourage you guys. The cave of recuperation.
Wow, that's right.
Go to Canon for Samuel, chapter 22. And this is my last point, amen?
Come on, Kyle.
All of you who are hungry, I apologize. Actually, I don't. At this time, we're going to study out a man that is probably one of the coolest guys in the Bible. I like to think that I'm cool, but David was a lot cooler than me or a lot cooler than you. And the reason why was, David was one of those guys where he was a warrior, and he was a singer, and he was good looking. You know, some people just get everything at once. It's not fair. Here's an example. God did bless me with athleticism. So, a number of years ago when I was younger, and I guess this is a couple years ago, when I was 19, you know. But anyway, let's not get into that. But there was a time where I was athletic, and it was awesome. But you take me to karaoke, and I'm not singing anything, because I can't sing. But some people, they're a tough macho guy who's athletic, and then they can do karaoke as well. It's like amazing. And then they look in the mirror and they're fired up too. That was David. Well, David's the guy who is anointed king. Then he goes and kills Goliath. He leads the campaigns. And then Saul the king goes, I don't like this guy. This guy's good looking. This guy's better than me. I decided, I hate this guy. That's the problem. You get everything, you don't want to meet someone who gets jealous. So I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill this guy. So now David is an outlaw on the run, and he's done nothing wrong. He's been tore away from his wife, tore away from his best friend, and tore away from the kingdom that once looked up to him, and now wants him dead. Wow. I don't know about you, but I think David's in a bad spot here. He's probably weak spiritually. His heart is hurt. There's a little bit of unforgiveness he's probably battling with. And yet, God leads him to a cave and allows him to recuperate. Chapter 22 and verse 1. How it says, David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam. When his brothers and his father's household heard about it, they went down to him there. All those who were in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him. And he became their commander. About 400 men were with him. From there, David went to Mizpah in Moab and said to the king of Moab, would you let my father and mother come down and stay with me until I learn what God will do for me? So he left them and went with King Moab and stayed with him as David was in the stronghold. But the prophet of Gad said to David, do not stay in the stronghold, go down to the land of Judah. So David left and went to the forest of Horeb. You know, right here, David's walking. He goes from a palace to a cave. He sees the cave, he goes, okay, I'm going to go in there. He goes in to get some rest. All by himself. And then, in order to encourage him, God starts sending down men. The Bible says 400 of them began joining him. Every day, week after week, men began coming down. Is that not incredible? Oh, yeah. What kind of men were these? Well, these were special men. They had primary qualities about them. They were distressed. They were in debt. And they were not happy about their life. They were discontented with what was happening in Israel. You know, I don't know about you, but when I have a lot of friends to choose from, I choose the best ones. When I have no friends, I choose anyone. David goes, someone here? Yes, David, we've got problems, but we want you to be our commander. And we want you to be our friend. He goes, I've got no one else. I don't need to know anything else about you. You're my mom made them some good food. As my mom always does, amen? But they're there together, they're fellowshipping. And remember, David was the man who wrote so many songs. David, I believe, without a shadow of a doubt, led those men in those songs as they were there in the cave of Babylon. Every Sunday, there's nothing that gets me more fired up than the singing. I mean, it is special to sing to God.
That's right.
There are times that I know that a lot of you walk in here and you don't have much left. You've had a bad week, you might even have had a bad car ride to church, and you come and you don't have much left. And yet after the singing, you walk out, after the preaching, you walk out, and you're recuperated spiritually. I know for some of us here today, you walked in today and you're struggling. Some of you thought today is going to be my last Sunday here.
Oh.
I hope that when you walk out, your mind will be changed. And I hope that you can recuperate spiritually by worshiping with God and God's people as David and those men did. You know, when this fellowship began a couple of years ago, this was a description of the church. Distress, in debt, and discontented. How desperate were they? They made me the leader. I don't know about you guys, but that is pretty desperate. Well, in time, I believe that not only David and his men became strong, but in time, God has made this an incredible fellowship. You know, just a little over, or a little under 2 years ago, there was only 50 disciples in the church. And now God's multiplied it to almost 250 disciples. You know, that's amazing. Already this year we've had about 50 people baptized into the church. And today we're going to add one more to the church. Is that not awesome? Yep. This year we're going to see John and Anna go away. Why are you clapping about that? That's not nice. I'm joking. They're going to be sent away on a mission team, amen? Yeah. Now you can clap. But they're going to be going, and our church will have sent out our first mission team ever. This is like unbelievable. And yet, I still remember talking to John on the phone for the first time. A number of years ago. He was distressed. Anna did not want to join him. He was the only guy in Metro Manila at that time. Thank you. Distressed, amen? He was the only person at that time in Metro Manila that wanted to do a new church and believed God had called him to do it. And Anna wanted nothing to do with it. He was in debt. Oh, he was in a lot of debt, I remember. We're not going to even tell him your financials, but I remember. And he was discontented. And yet, God used him to start a remnant group that turned into a church, that now has turned into you guys, and now we're sending him to Cebu to do the exact same thing. You know in the Bible who these men became? You study it out, these became David's mighty men. You see, it's never been God's plan to take the strongest people to do great things with them. In fact, it's always been the opposite plan. God takes the weak things of the world, the things that are not, to nullify the things that are, so that everyone may know that God is the God of all, and God is the God that makes weak things strong. It has never been, and never will be, human strength. I'm getting all kinds of good things tonight. I got a sweat rag, cup. My goodness. I don't even want to quit speaking now. I feel recuperated, rejuvenated, fired up. And I really believe that today, no matter where you're at, this could be you. You you walked in, you're barely faithful, praise God, you're in the right place. I had guys say earlier in the fellowship, and I was scared to come back because I didn't want to feel judged. Nobody here is going to judge you. If they judge you,
Come on, Rod.
tell them that I'm going to talk to them. They need to repent. We are so fired up you're here. We hope you come next week, and then the week after that. You go, but I had so much sin. I know. We already knew that before you came back. We've been here the whole time, and we have sin too. Join the club. Let's repent together, and let's recuperate and rejuvenate together. Amen? I'm going to ask you today. We know now that all men hide in caves. The only question for you is which one you've been hiding in. And today, that through our Bible study, you find that you've been hanging out in the cave of compromise. I want to challenge you this morning. Stop compromising. Get fired up about the truth. Repent. And come out of the cave. Maybe you've been in the cave of exhaustion. You came today and you're here, but you've got a bad attitude. You're upset about special missions and the GLC and about Bible talk and about midweek and about everything else. And you're even thinking there's got to be a church out there that's easier than this one. You can find an easier church, but you're not going to find an easier Bible. You with me on that? And trust me, this doesn't change. So, it's time for you to get back into the Word of God. It's time for you to get back into praying and hearing God's voice again in your life. And quite frankly, it's time for you to go back the way that you came. Lastly, if you're here this morning and you've not been hanging out with us, if you've not been coming to the cave of recuperation, I hope that today marks a day that you'll never forget. A day that when you walk out of these doors, you have recommitted your heart, re-strengthened your heart, and re-decided that you are not done with God, He's not done with you, and you have recuperated, rejuvenated, and you're ready to continue in your walk with God.